Do you guys remember that old Pokemon fusion generator? And you'd like combine two random Pokemon and make a new one? Well, I was scrolling through YouTube the other day, and it turns out they actually made that into a game. The only difference is, instead of just sort of mushing the face onto another sprite, the people who made this game actually went out of their way to make custom art for 90% of all these fusions. I knew immediately that I had to play this. After a surprisingly long download, it was finally time to play. I selected the max age of 17, which is making me question a lot about my life, and I entered my character's name. I decided to play on the hardest difficulty because if you play on anything less, then you're just a baby back bitch. And also, you know, just general entertainment. The game launches with a commercial from Silphco explaining how they've recently made DNA splicers and that they're available at the Pokemon. Essentially just a very quick intro. Oh, you can combine Pokemon and go beat the Elite Four kind of thing, essentially. Straight after entering the game, you're now tasked with naming your rival, and there was only one option I could go with. Please don't judge me, I've been doing it since I was about 8 years old, okay? I've been doing it since I was 8. I then made my way to Oak's lab to pick my very own starter Pokemon. I picked Charmander because he's an absolute Chad, and I named him Paul. Douche then proceeded to pick both Bulbasaur and Squirtle, and fuse them into this abomination. Okay, look, yes, objectively it's cute, but I'm just pissed that he got to pick two, and I only got one. We easily defeat Douche, however, by spamming Scratch. We then make our way through herds of Pidgeys to the Pokemart to collect Oak's parcel. Upon returning the package to Oak, we're given 5 Pokeballs, 5 DNA splicers, and a Pokédex. This means we can now officially splice our own Pokemon. So many options. What do we do? Who do we splice? Well, I've heard rumors that you can do something very funny early on in the game. By combining 2 Rattatas, you can make yourself your very own Rat King. I named him Lord, and he was officially on the team. It was now time for me to make my way through Viridian Forest. But considering Paul was a fire type, it was pretty easy. I managed to catch a few random Pokemon and mostly battle trainers for XP. By the time I made it to Pewter City, Paul was around level 13, but knowing that it's a rock type gym, I knew I was still gonna have to grind just a little bit to get the dub. As I was battling a couple of trainers outside of Pewter City, I came across an Igglybuff that I caught. Keep this guy in mind. I also managed to catch a Pidgey that had been DNA spliced with a Sunkern. I knew if I could unsplice them and then splice the Sunkern with Paul, that he would be fire and grass type, cancelling out the negative effects of the rock type gym and giving him some good attack moves. I went back to the city, combined Paul with the Sunkern, and oh my god. Look at this little guy. Look at him. I love him. I will do anything to protect him. The cool thing about Pokemon Fusion is when you combine 2 Pokemon, you get to choose which ability you want to have and all of their moveset. Paul now had Ember as well as a slew of very handy grass type moves, except he didn't have the strongest attacking grass type move. But still, I was confident it was time to take on Brock. I walk into the gym, spirits high, and it's safe to say that we got absolutely demolished. It was grind time, baby. After grinding for a little while, I managed to find a Mankey. I thought, yeah, cool, fighting type, it'll be good for the rock gym. Little did I know this guy was about to change the game. And eventually, Paul evolved, and he even learned Razor Leaf. With now my new Pokemon, Paul's evolution, and brand new move that actually does damage, I knew it was now time. We go back to the gym. And it's not even a contest. Paul is taking names left, right, and center with zero regard for the families of these trainers. With the trainers defeated, it was now time to face the big man himself. It was time to battle Brock. Before stepping into this gym, I had a stroke of genius. I thought, hey, let's combine the Igglybuff and the Mankey, and we'll get a fighting fairy type. An amazing type to have, practically cancels out all their weaknesses, and it's going to be super effective against Brock's Pokemon. Now, as expected, Paul comes out swinging, almost one-shotting Brock's first Pokemon. Unfortunately, he does take a lot of damage due to a Rock Tomb, but it's okay. He Razor Leafs again, and he gets the dub on the first Pokemon. And guys, that's when it happened. Brock unleashes his ace in the hole, his Ex Machina. He brings out the Dignix. Fair to say, I was petrified in that moment, but I thought, hey, I might be able to get one attack in, and I go for the Razor Leaf. I did not outspeed the Dignix. Instantly KO'd. All I had left was my level 7 Mankey Igglybuff hybrid. His Pokemon was twice the levels of mine. I didn't think I had many options here, so I had to go for the Sing. I had to put this thing to sleep. The Dignix goes first, and he hits the bind. Luckily, not one-shotting my only Pokemon left. I go for the Sing, it misses. I've taken a fair bit of damage from this bind, and because he used bind, I'm going to keep taking damage all throughout the fight. Turn 2, I go for the Sing again. Again, I get so lucky. Brock goes for the bind again. I'm taking a lot of damage at this point. I'm under half health, but I go for the Sing, and this time, it hits. It's now officially a battle against the clock, so I do all that I can do in this situation. I go for the low kick. The Dignix doesn't wake up, I get the kick. Turn 2, I go for another low kick. Brock's Pokemon still doesn't wake up, and I get the move off. At this point, I'm petrified. Pokemon rarely sleep for more than 2 turns. And I know the second this guy wakes up, he's going to outspeed me and one-shot my one and only Pokemon left. I go for the low kick. And unfortunately, for Brock, it doesn't wake up. We get the move off, and we down his ace in the hole. My Igglybuff Mankey hybrid, level 7, twice as many levels beneath Brock's ace, manages to take the dub. Brock's surprised. I'm surprised. Hell, I'm sure even my Pokemon are surprised. But we managed to get the first gym badge. And guys, that's how I got the first badge in Pokemon Fusion. I've played a lot of modded Pokemon games, especially that Fire Red GBA era. And a lot of them, they're fun, they're quirky. The appeal starts to wear off after an hour or two of playing. One thing I can say for this game is it's so engaging. There's so many Pokemon I didn't show because I wanted to keep this as concise as possible. But believe me when I say the amount of effort and detail put into this game is genuinely astounding. I had a really good time with it, and I just wanted to share my journey with you up until this first gym. If you're into Pokemon, but you've sort of been burnt out a bit by the formula, I highly recommend trying out Pokemon Fusion. It's not even a ROM, it's just a download client game. It's really nice. But yeah, I hope you liked the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this new style of video making, make sure to let me know. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye now.